Whisper to those who wish to see you shine, even in your darkest hour. Pongoletu sigulindile thina si pongoletu our pride. Kaboom, brothers and sisters, kaboom. Kaboom, brothers and sisters, kaboom. Ucho umaduma, uthukele umpafana uthombeni. Uthi uyanibuyisa nge-Heritage Day. Kaboom, brothers and sisters, kaboom. Kaboom! Kaboom, brothers and sisters, kaboom! 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 Enkosini. Kaboom!
We imagine our heritage institutions for a new era. I will now invite Minister Mackenzie on the podium to take over the program. Minister Mackenzie.
Acting President, I got a message now from my auntie. She said, we've seen everyone. You made everybody stand up, but you didn't make the wife of the acting president stand up. And it is true. I want you all to see how beautiful our deputy president's wife is and how beautiful she's dressed. Can you please rise and can we give her a hand of applause? Please rise, Mrs. Mashatile. Kaboom! Then I want to make two announcements. One is in absentia. Do you know that we are part of the government of national unity, all of us? Die regering van nasionale eenheid, ons werk baie lekker saam. We are working very nicely. Don't listen to the newspapers. We are working very nicely. I will tell you one story, Acting President, behind the scenes. Ek wil een story met julle deel. The Acting President invited us to Japan. We got to Japan. Minister Gwere Mantashe was supposed to be there. He couldn't make it. So the acting president, I said, no, I know about mining. I will do the presentation. The next morning, the evening, I became very sick, Minister, very sick. I had flu. My nose was running. I went to the chemist. That man, the pharmacist, DP, he doesn't know English. I went, I said, nothing. I showed him my chest, nothing. I thought if I don't live here, this man might give me birth control tablets or something. So, Acting President, when I walked in the hotel, I met Minister John Steenhuisen. He says to me, Minister, you look very sick. I said, yes. He says, stand right here, I'm coming. He came back with lots of tablets and medicine. He said, Minister, drink this tonight. I took it, I looked at him, I said, hey, Spiel, they had even my so how to it. You're not going to kill me so easily. So I took the tablets back. I took the tablets, Acting President. I put it in my room knowing I'm not going to use it. But then I got more sick. I took out my phone, chairperson of the portfolio committee, I took out my phone. I took a picture of the tablets. I sent it to my Dexel, my person. I said, baby, if I die tonight, you must know John Steenhuisen gave me these tablets at 8:30 tonight. The hotel cameras will show. The next day, so I drank. When I looked at my phone, when I woke up, I got a message from my partner. She said, baby, don't drink those tablets. Ek sê is te laat. Ek is gesond soos 'n perd. And this is who we are as the GNU. We are together. We are building this country. They can say what they like. They hate the GNU president, but they want to come in because umnandi mona, umonati mo GNU. GNU is the future. Then lastly, before I call up the next speaker to introduce the acting president, history has been made. We are hosting the presidency of the G20. It has never happened. It is the first time where we have an African man to be the chairperson and the president of the G20. Can we all give and clap hands to President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa for being the first president, for making history? It has never been done. Thank you very much. And with those words, let me introduce the farmer, the minister, the chemist, John Steele-Hazen, to come introduce our DP. Over to you. Waar is hoeveel skoenen maar?
Baie dankie. Halale Oudshoorn, halala. Happy Heritage Day, Oudshoorn. Happy, happy. It is a distinct honor and privilege today to be here with all of you, but an even greater honor and privilege to be able to give the welcome to our main speaker today. This is our own Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. And I want to say, DP, what Minister McKenzie said about your wife, I want to second. She looks absolutely lovely today. And I'm sure everybody here agrees. We are so much stronger because we have all different types of heritages that interweave together to make us who we are as a nation. And I think it is very fitting that today, to come and speak to us is not only our Deputy President, but the acting President of the Republic of South Africa, the Honourable His Excellency Paul Mashatile. Lead us, Deputy President, lead us.
Modi mohaulite heng hai matata hayo mata aremenga mautu. Let's all stand and welcome the Deputy President. Modi mohaulite heng hayo mata tata hayo matata Modi mohaulite heng hayo mata matata hayo matata hayo Modi. Thank you very much.
Sisi balam tabakala kukukuja pakupha kanti sangikhahlela ngizawuthi sekunjalo kaloku mawethu nazi ingqalangqala zobutyebi belizwe zizoluhlangula lilizwe ebekaloku zona nto zanikwa ingqiko nembeko zathobela zebuye inkomo amagwalandini ezizazimkelwa nongqawuse ndivumelani kaloku mna ndityatyadule lirhibele ndigwebe ngamakhala nezaci ebekaloku mna nqinqele ebhoqwena ndidlali intsinto abadala ngegama loo nto mna ndikoki andirhoqi ndingqongqangqo emkholweni bhotani mzontsundu andiniva ndithi bhotani kaloku zwe sikayintsa sikarharhabe sikaphalo sikahintsa sikamalangabe sikatogwi ebe kaloku seyisesisizwe sikakho kaloku deputy president xa bethi bakhahlala besithi zanelizwe. Uye nenjewo yasekhaya sukele mna njakham.
Siyabulela kakhulu. Thank you very much, program directors, Honorable Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Mr. Gayton Mackenzie, and Deputy Minister Peace Mabe. MEC for Cultural Affairs and Sports for the Western Cape Province, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Ministers here present, they all have been introduced. I just want to say, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, we thank you most sincerely for attending. I know that during events like this, we don't get a lot of ministers attending. Today you are here in big numbers, and I'm quite happy. I urge you to continue to do that. Let's support one another. A big round of applause to our ministers and deputy ministers. Let me also acknowledge members of parliament who are here with us, our host mayor, MMCs and councillors. From our government who are present here, senior managers and all officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, fellow South Africans. Molweni, Dumela, Abshe, Sanbonani, Demasiare, Lochani, Tobela, Huyemedach. Program directors, it is a privilege to stand before this gathering today on behalf of His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, who entrusted me with the honor of leading this celebration of Heritage Day here at Oudshoorn, a town known for its sandstone architecture, national heritage sites, and a rich cultural landscape influenced by the Khoisan people, Scottish stone masons, and Jewish settlers. Minister Mackenzie, given the rich history of this town, it is befitting that we are hosting the Heritage Day celebration here today. What has especially caught my interest for this year's celebration is the theme, Reimagine Our Heritage Institutions for a New Era, since it encourages us to honor our history whilst looking to the future. This theme further emphasizes the importance of leveraging heritage as a foundation for building a dynamic, socially responsive, technologically innovative, and economically inclusive future. It is a call for fresh perspectives on how we can preserve and showcase our history in ever-evolving landscape of our society. This theme is even more important considering that South Africa has been hosting various G20 initiatives since the beginning of the year and will officially host the G20 summit in November of this year. We're expecting most of heads of states to attend this summit in November. The theme of South Africa's presidency of the G20 is solidarity, equality, and sustainability. And then, amongst other things, anchors as a promoter of inclusive economic growth whilst fostering innovation, creativity, equity, social cohesion, and ensuring that a diversity of cultural expressions flourishes in a globalized world. I should state, Honorable Program Director, that it does not matter what tribe or cultural background you are. We all have the responsibility to preserve and showcase our heritage locally and also to a global audience. This is important because our heritage institutions nurture cultural identity, encourages unity, and offer economic opportunities in sectors such as tourism and the arts. I know that Nkosi Mavuso spoke very passionately about agriculture. Minister Staines, and you heard him. This serves as a bridge between the past and the present, allowing us to connect with our roots and understand where we come from. It is in the understanding of our roots that we can lay a solid foundation for our future as a society. Fellow compatriots, you will agree with me that as we enter a new era, it is crucial to reevaluate and reinvent heritage institutions to ensure their relevance and accessibility. We must emphasize the centrality of heritage in our national project to build a socially cohesive society based on democratic values such as human dignity, equality, freedom, human rights, and civil liberties as enshrined in our Constitution. We are obliged to do so because our heritage embodies the very essence of our nationhood and the resilience of our people united in their diversity. It is this unity in diversity that our cultural heritage finds expressions through galleries, theaters, archives, concerts, works of art, sports codes, storytelling, indigenous games, and museums, which form part of our shared future. Tata Rolihlahla Mandela has this to say 20 years ago. Dalbunga. When our museums and monuments preserve the whole of our diverse heritage, when they are inviting to the public and interact with the changes all around them, then they will strengthen our attachment to human rights, mutual respect, and democracy, and help prevent this ever again being violated. Close quote. With these words, Tata Madiba accurately described the important role that museums and other historical institutions play in bringing about social change, encouraging active citizenship, and protecting the democratic principles that are enshrined in our Constitution. His observations further emphasizes that museums and cultural institutions must address societal challenges and cater to the daily needs of people across racial and cultural divides. Museums, monuments, and other heritage sites must become spaces of cultural diplomacy, inclusivity, intergenerational conversation, laboratories of creativity, and incubators of opportunities for our people, particularly the youth. We must, program directors, position our heritage institutions to contribute to the government's efforts to deal with pressing challenges of unemployment, social fragmentation, crime, and corruption. This can be achieved by empowering communities to challenge dominant narratives, providing secure spaces for dialogue and critical thinking. Sorry for that. We must position our heritage institutions to contribute to the government's efforts to deal with pressing challenges of unemployment, social fragmentation, crime, and corruption. This can be achieved by empowering communities to challenge dominant narratives, providing secure spaces for dialogue and critical thinking, and preserving and reinterpreting marginalized histories. The heritage institutions may create a sense of collective memory, inspire resilience, and find new ways to solve current social challenges by adopting participatory approaches and focusing on people's resilience and lived experiences. Program directors, more importantly, we must work together as families, as communities, non-governmental organizations, business and government to fight the scourge of drugs and substance abuse, especially amongst young people. The rate of drug abuse amongst our children is a concern to our government, especially as it leads to stigmatization of young people into categories. As we all hear, some of them are called Amapara and other names. I call everyone to stand up and fight this demon that has engulfed our nation. It is our joint responsibility to combat alcohol and substance abuse and work together to eradicate similar practices within communities. Phansi ngama-drugs, phansi. Phansi ngama-drugs, phansi. Fellow compatriots, We must also work together to fight crime, racism, tribalism, gender-based violence and femicide, including other anomalies that serve as a hindrance to our country's progress. Furthermore, we must embrace a radical perspective shift within our museums, one that reimagines these institutions so they may effectively respond to the sensibilities, aspirations, and challenges of the 21st century and beyond. This is a call to decolonize our museums, to Africanize them through a people-centered process of knowledge production and co-curation for a new era, a post-colonial era. It is a moment for a strategic shift as heritage institutions worldwide are transforming into engines of development, aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This shift is also reflected in the National Development Plan Vision 2030, the revised White Paper on Arts, Culture and Heritage, the National Policy on Living Heritage, and also the Constitution. These frameworks acknowledge that heritage institutions must be people-centered, economically responsive, and technologically advanced while healing the divisions of the past. This task demands unity of purpose and collective action from all of us as a nation to construct a country that upholds human dignity and civil liberties, free from racism, sexism, and various forms of discrimination. We must take deliberate steps to fast-track transformational imperatives and address the urgent need to resolve and restore the dignity of the African people whose cultural heritage practices were disrupted and destroyed by colonialism and apartheid. Some of you present here can confirm that apartheid undermined African heritage by destroying community structures through forced removals, fragmenting families and ancestral lands, and establishing an inferior education system focused on Bantu education. It suppressed African cultures, enforced segregation, and promoted the derogatory use of the term Bantu to dehumanize Black Africans and erode their identity. As government, we are actively working to restore the dignity of African heritage through initiatives like the National Policy for the Repatriation and Restitution of the Human Remains and Heritage Objects, and the current reburial of Khoi and San ancestral remains, aiming to correct injustices from the colonial and apartheid eras. Program directors, we are called upon to restore the erased histories of our heroes and heroines who died defending this beautiful land. It was on the dunes of the Cape that our African ancestors, the Khoi and the San, defended these lands against the Portuguese Viceroy Francisco de Almeida and his crew in 1520 at Table Bay. It was again in the same Cape that the Khoi and the San stood defiantly against Jan van Riebeeck in what became known as the Khoi-Dutch confrontation of 1659. We are reminded of the Eastern Cape frontier wars which raged over a period of 100 years. History reminds us of the Battle of Ngome River in KwaZulu-Natal, the Bambata Rebellion of 1906, and many other courageous acts of standing against Western colonizing forces that took place across the length and breadth of our country in defense of our land and our heritage. We should also remember and teach the young ones about the wars waged by Sekhukhune of Bapedi tribe in the north, now Limpopo, or Limpopo province rather. These were a series of conflicts between the Bapedi people led by King Sekhukhune against the Boer-controlled Transvaal Republic, culminating in a final war against the British between 1878 and 1879. Sekhukhune was a determined leader who sought to maintain the independence of the Bapedi people against encroaching colonial powers. Program directors, these were not merely battles. They were forms of resistance that would later shape and determine the fate of the African child. Fellow compatriots, today we have an opportunity to pay tribute to the central role played by our traditional and Khoisan leaders, our kings and queens, in the defense of our beautiful land and the safeguarding of our heritage. Throughout history, they have stood as custodians of culture, identity, and memory, ensuring that the wisdom of our ancestors is preserved and passed on to future generations. Their leadership has not only safeguarded our territories, but also fostered the values of unity, dignity, and resilience amongst our people. Today, as we chart the path towards a more cohesive and inclusive society, we draw inspiration from their enduring legacy and acknowledge their invaluable contribution to the preservation of our heritage as a whole, as we continue to build a non-racial, non-sexist, united and democratic South Africa. Program Director, some of our traditional and Khoisan leaders who fought fearlessly in these wars were beheaded. Their skeletal remains collected as trophies and shipped out of the country to museums across Euro-Western countries. To this day, some of these sacred human remains of our worthy ancestors remain locked away as prisoners of so-called science in museum cupboards across the world, still awaiting their rightful repatriation. We are happy, Minister Mackenzie, that you have been speeding up this process. In this regard, I am reminded of the remains of Sarah Bartman that were returned from France in 2002. Her remains were repatriated to symbolize an end to colonial exploitation and the restoration of the dignity of Black African women. Through our repatriation and restitution program, we've begun identifying institutions across the world where some of these sacred human remains are located, awaiting their return. Today, we also pay tribute to our living human treasures who are vital to the transmission of heritage, serving as custodians of knowledge, skills, and cultural practices. They guide our communities, enrich cultural experiences, and educate society on the enduring value of arts and culture. In particular, today, we honor Dr. Oma Katrina Isau, the last remaining fluent speaker of the critical endangered Ngu language, and one of South Africa's revered living human treasures. We are happy that she is here with us today. Thank you very much for being with us today. Dr. Esau stands as a towering figure, embodying resilience, wisdom, and the unbroken thread of indigenous knowledge. Through the wealth of her experience and teachings, we as a nation continue to draw inspiration and strength. Her life's work reminds us of the urgent responsibility to safeguard our intangible cultural heritage for future generations. As the last fluent speaker of the Ngu language in our country, and indeed the world, she carries with her the living memory of one of humanity's oldest languages, a Tlik language once spoken by the San of the Kalahari. With every lesson she imparts to present and future generations, she does far more than transmit words. She safeguards a profound archive of human experience and linguistic heritage. Her voice reminds us that when a language dies, a universe of meaning, memory, and identity is lost forever. It is for this reason that the restoration and preservation of our indigenous languages must remain central to our pursuit of restoring the dignity of those voices that were silenced and those languages that were suppressed. We are happy, Dr. Esau, that you have started classes to educate the young ones. Minister Mackenzie is going to support you in that regard so that we don't lose this rich history. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier today we also had the opportunity to participate in the 1 Million Trees campaign of the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment by planting trees at Deiserdorp Secondary School. This campaign is part of the department's National Greening Project aimed at planting trees across the country as part of our collective responsibility to safeguard the environment. Today, Program Director, we were planting trees as part of planting 1.4 million trees across the country. The Planting of Trees project serves not only as an environmental intervention, but also as a cultural imperative, aligning living heritage practices with the principles of sustainability. It affirms our duty to ensure that the resources of our environment are preserved and protected for future generations. As government, we have also taken a step further by launching the Clean Cities, Towns and Villages campaign. The campaign aims to create cleaner, sustainable environments in all our communities, fostering job creation in municipalities and cities. It supports developmental goals by improving public health, safety, infrastructure, and promoting green energy investment to combat environmental degradation. The Cities, Towns and Villages campaign further protects heritage by creating environments that support the preservation and adaptive reuse of historic buildings and landscapes, and establishing a sense of collective place, fostering economic growth and social cohesion within our towns and cities. Fellow compatriots, the month of September also marks the second reunion of Robben Island ex-political prisoners, during which a wall of remembrance featuring the names of all Robben Island ex-political prisoners and 6 commemorative statues will be officially launched. Indeed, the story of our collective heritage is a triumph of human spirit over adversity. It is a story of the continuum of the past, present, and the future. It is a story of communities that, despite centuries of dispossession, division, and hardship, continue to rise to create and to preserve the wisdom of their ancestors for current and future generations. Most importantly, it is a story of resilience of people who refused to be silenced, who held on their language, their traditions, and sacred knowledge as acts of defiance and human dignity. This triumph is seen through the efforts of ordinary people from across the spectrum who safeguards our intangible cultural heritage against the tide of erasure. It is seen in our cultural practices which affirm identity and belonging in the face of global homogenization. It is seen in our collective commitment to reimagine heritage as a force of unity, healing, and cultural diplomacy. As part of our efforts to come together as a nation with a shared goal of mending the scars of the past and addressing the deeply ingrained social and economic difficulties that the country faces, the President has initiated a national dialogue that is open to all people. The national dialogue is a citizen-led process and is an opportunity for all South Africans to confront uncomfortable truths about our democracy and reimagine a shared future for South Africa when no one is left behind. The dialogue is a crucial platform for all voices, regardless of age, location, race, class, or culture, to shape the future of our democracy through meaningful, inclusive dialogue. Since the early 90s, South Africa has relied on such dialogues for conflict resolution and shaping our future. You will recall the Convention for a Democratic South Africa and also the Truth and Reconciliation Commission as examples. We urge everyone to engage in this process because as South Africans with diverse lived experiences, we each have a vital role in building the nation we hope for. As we celebrate our heritage, may this moment serve as a time of activation. Let it be an opportunity to reimagine our heritage institutions not as remnants of a past era, but as beacons of possibility in a changing and globalizing world. Together, let us turn memory into momentum and heritage into hope for a new era of bold imaginings. Our collective responsibility is to draw pride and joy from our diverse cultures and heritage. Let us recognize and embrace each other while celebrating our shared destiny and the rich tapestry of our country's history, culture, and heritage. The duty lies with parents, community leaders, activists, teachers, and all change agents to proactively educate and inform the youth about our past and its significance in shaping the future. Promoting family values strengthen individuals and communities by providing ethical guidance, fostering social skills like empathy and communication, and creating a sense of belonging. When communities promote family values, they foster mutual respect, collaboration, and the building blocks for a healthy human development, resulting in a more cohesive and supportive settings for everyone. We must, program directors, also recognize and appreciate the contribution of partners in the social cohesion and nation building journey, such as the Moral Regeneration Movement, the MRM, who promotes positive values through the Charter of Positive Values. I had the opportunity to meet with the board of MRM led by Father Smangaliso Mkhachu, who also reminded me of the importance of the existence of such organization in molding the more and moral fiber of our society today. The MRM Charter, for example, provides a framework designed to tackle social issues and facilitate moral renewal by advocating for principles such as human dignity, equality, non-racialism, non-sexism, honesty, and family values, aiming to establish a fair and inclusive society which remain crucial to the holistic development of our nation. In conclusion, program directors, this is but one example of the many organizations that are determined to make a difference and bring change that we as government and other sectors need to support. I therefore call upon all South Africans to reimagine our history and heritage, particularly our heritage institutions, for the new era, so that they may continue to add value to human development and serve generations to come. I wish all South Africans across the length and breadth of our nation, across the continent, and throughout the diaspora, a wonderful, wonderful Heritage Day. Baya danki, enkosi, siyabonga, inkosi.
Hala, Acting President, hala. I want to thank the Acting President. Acting President, thank you very much for that powerful speech. I want to say something very important what the Acting President mentioned. There are people in this area, Acting President, you are right. They appreciate the dialogue. They don't have land. They have problems that only the dialogue can save. So they say the people don't want the dialogue. Our people in these communities, we want the dialogue because we want our voices to be heard. We want the dialogue. We want the dialogue. And the lie they are saying is 700 million. It is not true. President Ramaphosa told us, I'm sitting on that committee, we will never pay 700 million. We came back with 400 million. He said we will never pay 400 million. We have brought the price down significantly. Thank you, DP. I have changed the program a bit. Instead of bringing in the real dancers, bringing in Ready D, bringing youngster CPT, I first want us to get the talking finished. Then, umnandi, dan begin die party. Dan begin ons te celebrate. Die ding moet kom ruk hierso. Die tent moet opgaan naar die ligger. So, voor ons dit doen, I want to call up a man I greatly respect, the Mayor Andrew Alderman, Andrew Strubel, to come and do the thanks. And then the DP will go and greet Auntie Katrina, Koningin Katrina. En na dit, dan roep ons die sastrappers. Staan so lang sas, my kinders. Ons gaat vir julle nou roep. Laat ons eers die prater het laat kry. Ken the West Alderman Strubel? Oh, hey. Over to you, Alderman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. I hope you can see what I see. It's a beautiful sight to see. This is our heritage, and it's proud to be here today and welcoming the acting president to the Garden Route. Yes, Cape Town can have more flowers on Table Mountain than the UK combined. We have the longest wine route in the world right here in the Garden Route. Yes, we've got the heritage site in Mossel Bay. We've got